Hi everybody, it's Joy and I am back for another Friday Live. So thank you for waiting around. It took me a couple minutes to get us set up today, but we are going to be making a torn paper card like this. So this is really cute, a really cute way to make a card. So we are going to be making a version of this today. So go ahead and, make your comments. Tell me how you're doing. Tell me what kind of day you're having, and so on and so forth. And, if the weather's really cold where you are, let me know that too. We're not too bad here in Denver. Kind of typical. I think it's like the 40s or 50s. I'm not exactly sure, but we don't have any snow. So we're going to be using the 2025 to 2027 in colored 6x6 designer series paper and the coordinating flat pearls that go with that. We're also going to bring out some old faithfuls here that's in the current annual catalog, the 2025 to 2026 annual catalog, which goes to the end of April. And we're going to be using the exposed brick embossing folder and the Wonderful Thoughts bundle here. It is a bundle and it does have dies that go with it, and it cuts out all these lovely sayings, and then it has some hearts and some flowers there as well. So we're going to be using those two today, and then we're going to be bringing in some dies with some new online exclusive ones, and these are the dies from the Fragrant layers. So the Fragrant layer stamp set and the Fragrant layer dies, we're going to be using the dies from the Fragrant layers. So let me go ahead and show you what is in the 6x6 paper here. Let me see if I can find the where it starts, where I have all the different patterns. And so we have strawberry slush, and we have 4 different patterns because our paper is double-sided. So that is side 2 and side 2, and then we have cloud cover, and then secret sea, and timid tiger, and darling duckling. So those are the colors that are the 2025 to 2027 in colors. And I did use some of the timid tiger here, but for my sample that I'm going to do on camera for you. Oh, hi everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me where you are. And we're going to use the strawberry slush. We're going to make one of these. We're going to use strawberry slush. So first off, we have a piece of designer series paper for our first layer or emboss layer, which is 4 inches by 5¼ inches, and this is basic white. And then we have a basic white thick. This is a thick basic white. So we have basic, regular basic white and thick basic white. And that's our card base here. And this is our standard card base, which is 5½ by 8½, and then scored at 4¼ right here in half of 8½ is 4¼ So there we have that. And then we're going to need a scrap piece large enough to do our greeting. And so this is about 1 inch wide, and it's just, long enough to do your greeting. So this is just a scrap piece. And then we have a piece of the designer series paper, which is 2 inches by 4 inches. And then we have a piece for our inside, just a little strip that just happens to be 5/8 of an inch, but whatever you've got, by 4 inches. So there we have those pieces there, and we are going to bring in our Stampin' Cut and Emboss. This is the large one because we need the large one for our embossing. And we are going to use the plates for the 3D embossing folder, which is plate number 1 and the gray plate, which is plate number 4. So we have those plates there. And we're going to bring in our exposed brick 3D embossing folder. And our piece of basic white, our layer, which is 4 by 5¼ inches. And let's see, we need this to go this way. So I'm going to put this in to our folder, and I'm just going to come right down here to this line, which will keep it straight. So it's just going to go right down there to that line. And then we have our number 1 plate and our embossing folder. You always, always, always put the folded end into the machine. You don't ever put the open end into the machine, always the folded end. And then we're going to run it through our machine. Very easy. And we're going to set that down for a minute. And then we have an embossed layer. You do not have to emboss this layer for your torn paper technique. I just thought I would give it just a little extra. And so I decided to emboss mine. And then you're going to take, I don't know, let's give it a measurement. About, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch from the top, but it doesn't have to be exact. But just kind of guess. And we're just going to tear that. We're going to go semi-straight. Just going to tear it down a little ways. Let's see, down to about an 1.25 inches or so, 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches. So I have a little bit further to go. That's about right. And then I just need it to be no wider than about 1 3/4. So I don't know, about here. I'm just gonna go right here, and we're just going to also, we're going to tear that. It doesn't have to be super straight. We're just going to tear that about approximately to where we've got the other end. And then we do not need a lot. So we only need about 1 inch of this right here. So now we're going to just take some scissors, and we're just going to cut this off. Because if we rolled all of that up, that would be really super bulky. So we're going to cut part of that off. You could actually save this to put on another project if you wished. Well, let's go ahead and let's take a pencil or a pen, something, and we're just going to roll that up. Just use that to kind of create a curl. Do that a little bit more. Create a little bit more curl. Get that all the way down. It's not quite as, there we go. That's better. Then, so you've just got a little bit of paper curled up there. You can go a little bit tighter if you wish with it. So there we just have it right there. So that's our little torn paper there. And then we're going to bring this piece in here, and we're going to use some of the multi-purpose liquid glue or the green glue. And we're just going to go right on the edge here and down this side and the edge down here. You did not, no glue here. So only these three sides is where you want your glue. And we're going to line this up on here like this. So the green glue humps it if you need to move it around a little bit. So you'll line up that edge right on that open edge of your torn section. So right on the open edge of your layer here. And then you need some glue right down here on the part that's going to stick to the paper. And you can roll that up tight if you wish, just as loose or as tight as you want it. And then you're going to hold that there for a minute until it dries. So that'll go ahead and dry. Maybe stick something on it for a second to kind of hold it there for a minute. And now we're going to stamp our Thinking of You. And we're going to use the Memento Tuxedo Black and the Thinking of You stamp from the Wonderful Thoughts stamp set. And we're just going to ink that up. Don't need to push too hard, but this is a firm linen ink pad here versus the foam. And we're just going to stamp it, hold it there for a minute. And now this should be dry, and we're going to put that aside. We're going to bring our die cut machine back in. You could use the mini for these dies because they are small enough, but this one was handy, so we're just grabbing this one again. And oh, there it is, it's running loose. That die is running loose. And we do need a little bit of washi tape as well. So we do need a different sandwich for this. We need our card base, our die cutting base number 1, and then we need our number 2, and we need 2 of our number 3s. So one on the bottom and one on the top. I try to keep the one on the top where it doesn't, where the dies are not cutting into it. So I do have the number the bottom number 3 and the top number 3. So let's move our top number 3 for a minute. Come in here, and we are going to need some washi tape. So I'm just going to bring some washi tape or any other low tack tape. And I'm just going to take a little bit of the sticky off. We don't want it too terribly sticky. And then I'm going to line this up, and then we're going to tape it down so that it doesn't slide on us. We're going to run that through our machine. We're going to put our die cutting machine away. have it. It's all die cut out, all nice and pretty for us. As you can see, I didn't have to fussy cut that. We'll put our die away so we don't lose it. Put it back in the package. And we're going to put our plates down. And now we have some pieces here. With this piece, we have this piece here. We have some die cut pieces that we've done already from the Fragrant Layers. The Fragrant Layers is an online exclusive, so you're not going to see it in any book. It did come out very recently. So we have our strawberry slush flower, we have old olive leaves, and then we have basic white for our little thin detailed layer. And we have our card base here that's already been scored. And we are going to go ahead and give that a nice crease. Now, because this already has quite a bit of presence, kind of a 3D look, I'm not going to add dimensionals between these two layers. Just going to bring in my Stamp and Seal, my tape runner, and we're going to put this on like so, leaving an even border around. This is a white on white border. So you have the layer that's got the embossing, and then you have the other layer. And then we need just some, just a thin amount of glue, because I did not use an adhesive sheet for this. And so I'm going to use my little fine tip bottle. The fine tip bottle does have the multi-purpose liquid glue in it, or the green glue in it. And it was a little bit clogged in the end, so we're just going to get that going. Just need a little bit of glue around the edges here, just tiny, tiny little dabs of glue around the edges. I do not want a lot of glue here. You could also just take a sponge and your silicone mat and just get a dab of glue on that, and then use your sponge to dab it on the back. Adhesive sheets make it a lot easier, I will tell you this. I wish I would have remembered to grab the adhesive sheets before I die cut this. So this is just going to make a nice little white outline here. And then I don't want the stem showing, so I am going to cut that little stem off. And I think I can glue these two together. So we just need a little bit of glue on the edges, just right in here. There we go. There we go. That's the way I want it, right like that. And then we are going to go ahead, since I have the fine tip out, we're just going to use the fine tip. This is large enough. I could use the tip, the smaller tip to the multi-purpose liquid glue or green glue. And this, we're just going to do the same thing we did here. So we're just going to bring this, I don't know, right about here. right about there. And then we need some dimensionals here. Do I have any mini ones out? I do. So here's some mini dimensionals. Just going to use some of those, a couple of them. Just going to use my fingernails here real quick. And just going to put this right like this. It's not exactly the way this one was, but pretty darn close. And this one needs to have some better creasing done here. There we go. Now I need the pearls, the gems. So again, these are the 2025 to 2027 in color flat pearls. And we're going to use these strawberry slush ones. And where's my take your pick tool? Here it is. Just gotta grab my take your pick tool. I'm gonna grab the big one down here with the strawberry slush. And this is just gonna go right down here. And then I need a medium size. And I don't know, it's gonna go up here. And the tiny one, the smallest one, the baby. I don't want that closer. Nope, not that close. Right about there. Alright, so there we have it. Now we just need to add a little bit of the outside to the inside, so that's where this strip comes in. I'm just going to use my Stampin' Seal. And this is going to go onto the inside. Make sure the direction is going the right way. Oh, this looks not quite even. Just going to fix that. Okay, there we go. So now we have a little bit of the outside onto the inside. And there we have it. You have one in Timid Tiger and one in Strawberry Slush. So go ahead and tell me which color you like and maybe, why you like it. Is it your favorite color? Is it a color that just reminds you of brightness and sunshine? Just let me know what you think. And now you can see how simple this technique was. And until next time, we'll talk to you later. Bye.